Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to another video. So today, me and my dad, we will be reviewing the new Netflix Avatar: The Last Airbender live action adaptation. So let's get started. So, Dad, do you want to take us away?
Sure. One thing to note, this is not TVY7 like the cartoon version of Avatar: Last Airbender.
Yeah.
This is TV PG, and they are pushing the PG, I think, pretty much the boundary on some of this stuff. But I love the intro. I love the intro with Sozin's Comet. The first episode is Aang, and we're introduced to Sozin's Comet. For those of you that are familiar with the story, over
Yeah.
the Earth Kingdom or over an Earth Kingdom village, and we get our first taste of the CGI for the bending as we see an Earthbender taking on several Firebenders before he's captured. And at that point, I was just totally hooked.
Yeah, yeah. Or actually, so Dad, okay, so the first scene that was actually shot and everything like that, like where it has the Earthbender there and everything. So, okay, so that is actually capital city in the Fire Nation. It isn't a Earthbending town. So, but anyway, yeah, but anyway, so yeah, yeah. So anyway, so for starting off for episode one, which is just titled Aang, so I liked the part um, when of course the Earthbender, he gets captured and Sozin basically just takes him by the arm and just kind of just burns him to a crisp. And and like when I saw that, I was like, wow, this guy he's like it really shows like how ruthless Sozin is, I guess, like throughout the course of the war and everything else like that. Um, but yeah, and with that, I also like like when he says that, like my sights are set higher, much higher, which is really cool because it foreshadows the fact that the Fire Nation, they aren't just going to go after the Avatar, they are going to go after the whole Air Nation itself.
Yeah, and I like it that I like too um, the whole thing about Kyoshi giving us the elemental intro and telling us about the Avatar being the master of all four elements, and then telling us about at the death of an Avatar, the spirit passes to the next Avatar in line, and then showing how Roku kind of walks into the picture, and then telling the next Avatar has yet to be revealed, and then our finally our introduction to Aang um, at the Southern Air Temple, and
Yeah,
he's more of a just a relatable kid. He's a prodigy to be sure, but he's not just some goofball. And then we kind of find out he's just a scared 12-year-old, and he's at the very end of that scene. He's a boy who just has to leave for a moment or two to clear his head and ponder the news that he is the next Avatar.
yeah, yeah. So also, with one of the other things that I liked in episode one is, so when the Fire Nation attacked the Southern Air Temple, um, I thought that the fight scene and the CGI of that whole uh, thing, or I guess of the whole scene itself, the bending was done really well, and everything. Um, and it also shows how ruthless the firebenders are, and with that it is also really cool, like just to see a fight scene, like the firebenders, they are killing the air nomads, but it's also um, kind of cool to see like actually how powerful air nomads are, like I guess at like a master level, because they're just trying just to defend their home. um, yeah, well, so essentially, like the whole entire scene of the attack is just brutal, and and with that, it is just very well done. No pun intended.
And thinking about the Southern Water Tribe, they did a good job, but they're not trying to do a carbon copy of the cartoon. And if you're anticipating that, you're going to be disappointed. Uh, is everything exactly the same? No, of course not. But the changes, they tell the story well. And I think the animals, that they've brought in, Appa and Momo in this series are very well done. And some of the other animals that they bring in, the CGI is just, I think, spot on. It's really cool.
Yeah,
And they mash a few events of other episodes from the cartoons into one live action episode. I know probably some of the haters are going to just go nuts about that. And some things are out of order, but it flows well.
yeah, yeah. I mean, well, yeah, that's true. So I will indeed admit is that like all the haters and everything, yeah, because I just go on social media like and like most of my feed, like for the last couple weeks, yeah. So since since the live action came out on Netflix and everything, yeah. So since the last few weeks of that, it has been like pretty crazy with that. But of course, there's definitely a lot of hate towards the film because it's not like a carbon copy of the cartoon, which is kind of silly. But anyway, but moving on to episode two, which is titled Warriors. Um, so basically, so probably my favorite scene, or I guess I should say one of my favorite scenes, probably in that whole episode, as well as probably in the whole series itself. Um, of course, is of course when Aang goes into the Avatar state as Kyoshi, um, and they fight off Zhao and his men. The VFX, like in the whole show, are just really amazing. And also uh, during that that same fight, I also like how both Sokka and Suki, they're both warriors and everything like that. So that's how they connect. Like they are fighting side by side, like in that same battle, which I like that they like. Okay, so they also do that in the cartoon as well as as the live adaptation, which I really like. Like that they're doing, or well, okay, so that they're showing, um, like just that scene and everything like that they're fighting side by side, which I really like. So
Yeah, I like how you mentioned that, kind of an homage back to some of the cartoon things, but not all of them.
yeah,
And I like that you mentioned some of your favorite parts. And but the next few episodes, they are a conglomeration of events from the cartoon perspective that would be out of order. But in the live action version, they actually work because they're introducing all the major players, and they're uh, they're allowing for a lot of character development, and it worked really good for live action, and it's perfect to lead up to a fantastic finale for season one.
yeah, yeah. So for the last episode of the season, which is episode 8, because there's only eight in the whole season one. Um, I can't. So I actually didn't write the name of the last episode, but that's all right. But yeah, or though, so essentially, I really liked the part when Aang goes into the Avatar state. Like as the angry ocean spirit, and basically kind of just wipes out the whole Fire Nation fleet. And so I like that they put that in there. Like, is because I was a bit worried that they were gonna mess that up, but the CGI and just the VFX of the whole show is just really awesome. So they did a really good job with that scene. And I also love how like how they made some very small changes when they took Omashu instead of the northern water tribe being the main focus in the cartoon. Um, they instead made the north not so much the main focus, but it was mainly a distraction. Um, and of course, the main focus uh, for the Fire Nation was, of course, Omashu, uh, which is mainly because it is one of the last remaining standing Earth Kingdom cities that were a threat to the Fire Nation. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's really, really crazy stuff about that. Anyway, so real quick before we end this little review here that we have, so Dad, do you have any other last thoughts? And also, what would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would probably, at this point, I mean, it's very well done. I'd probably give it, if I was going decimals, I'd probably give it an 8.9 or maybe a 9 and a
Yeah.
half. It's very well done.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. For sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So for that, yeah. So for that, I would, of course, definitely like give the show like maybe I don't know, like maybe like okay, so similar to your rating, I would maybe give it like maybe like either like an 8.5 out of 10 or maybe like a 9.5. I would probably say maybe just like a 9 out of 10, honestly. So yeah.
Yeah, overall.
Yeah.
Overall. Some of the episodes, 8,
Yeah. Yeah.
8.5. But yeah,
Yeah,
overall, maybe
yeah,
a
eight,
9.
like eight, maybe sometimes even a seven for like some parts of some certain episodes. But of course, for most of it, I would probably say it's maybe like a solid 9 for me. So very well done, very good. Well, yeah. So anyway, guys, so that kind of concludes today's video and everything. So yeah, yes. With that, if you have liked the video, please consider subscribing, like the video, and also just comment down below on like what other type of videos and stuff like you would want us to do in the future. Uh, and of course with that, I will see you all like in the next video. So bye guys.